Ever notice how some men destroy their own respect without even realizing it? Not through failure, not through weakness, but through the words they speak. They talk too much, defend too fast, and brag too often. And every time they open their mouths, they leak power. You can spot them anywhere, loud, insecure, desperate to sound smart. But a Stoic man is different. He knows silence is a strategy. He understands that words, once spoken, can't be taken back, only regretted. As Epictetus said, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Because your words don't just describe you, they define you. In this video, we'll uncover 7 things a stupid man always says, and how to replace each one with the calm, disciplined wisdom of a Stoic warrior. Comment below. I choose wisdom over noise. Let's begin. 1. I already know that the stupid man's favorite phrase. 3 words that sound confident, but rot the mind from within. I already know that. He says it with pride, as if knowing were the same as living wisely. But the truth is, he doesn't know. He only remembers a fragment of something he once heard, something that made him feel clever for a moment. And now, he clings to it like armor, because admitting ignorance feels like weakness. He would rather look smart than become smart, so he keeps defending what he knows while the world keeps changing around him. The Stoics would look at this man and see not strength, but fear, the fear of being a student again. Epictetus once said, "You cannot learn what you think you already know." That line should echo in the mind of every man who's ever closed himself off from growth. The Stoics didn't worship knowledge, they trained it. To them, wisdom wasn't a trophy, it was a muscle, and muscles atrophy when they're not used. A wise man doesn't walk into a room thinking, "I already know." He walks in asking, "What can I see here that I've missed before?" He observes before he speaks. He listens before he argues. He studies not to prove others wrong, but to strengthen his own clarity. Because real intelligence isn't about having the answers. It's about never losing the hunger for better questions. Modern men confuse information with understanding. We scroll through motivational videos, podcasts, and books, and call that wisdom. But reading about discipline isn't discipline. Talking about strength isn't strength. Knowledge without embodiment is just noise in disguise. The Stoic warrior knows that until truth becomes habit, it's still theory. So the next time you're tempted to say, "I already know that," stop yourself. Ask instead, do I live that? Do I wake up early like Marcus Aurelius said? Or do I just quote him to sound profound? Do I practice stillness when insulted, or do I just nod at the idea? That's where the line is drawn. Between men who know and men who grow. The fool treats knowledge as a shield. The Stoic uses it as a sword. One hides behind it, the other sharpens it every day. The fool says, "I know," to end the conversation. The Stoic says, "Tell me more," to expand it. That's why one remains small, defensive, easily offended, while the other becomes vast, unshakable, endlessly evolving. So kill your arrogance. Strip your mind bare. Admit how little you know. Because that's the moment your mind becomes infinite again. In a world where everyone pretends to be an expert, the wisest man you'll ever meet is the one who still calls himself a student. 2. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. The cry of the weak. The anthem of the man who hands his power to everyone but himself. Every time he says those words, he becomes smaller, blaming the world, his past, his boss, his parents, his luck. It's the language of a man who wants sympathy instead of strength. And yet, the world owes him nothing. Life doesn't stop to comfort him. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Every time you say, "It's not my fault," you're building a cage, one made of excuses, locked from the inside. Because if it's never your fault, then it can never be your responsibility. And if it's never your responsibility, it will never be your victory. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Those words were not philosophy. They were survival. The man who takes responsibility becomes invincible because he stops waiting for fairness. He accepts the brutal truth. Some people will betray you, life will be unfair, storms will come, but your response is your weapon. The fool blames the wind. The Stoic learns how to sail. The fool curses the rain. The Stoic builds shelter. The fool waits for the world to be kind. The Stoic trains to be strong. Responsibility is the highest form of freedom. When you stop pointing fingers, you finally have both hands free to build your own life. Blame feels good. It gives temporary relief, like scratching a wound that never heals. It's easier to say, "My ex ruined me," than to admit, "I ignored the red flags." Easier to say, "My boss hates me," than to face, "I stopped giving my best." But that relief costs you your power. The more you blame, the weaker you become. The Stoics saw responsibility not as guilt, but as ownership. Marcus Aurelius wrote every night about his own failures, not to shame himself, but to train himself. Because the man who says, "It's my fault," is the man who can also say, "I can fix it." And that's the kind of man the world respects. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "It's not my fault," stop. Look at the situation and ask, what part of this can I control? What lesson can I claim? What action can I take today? That's how Stoic warriors think. They don't waste breath on blame. They build solutions in silence. Remember this: every excuse you make today becomes the chain you wear tomorrow. And every moment you take full responsibility, even for what wasn't entirely your fault. You forge a piece of armor around your soul. The world doesn't respect the man who complains. It respects the man who owns his story, rewrites it, and walks forward without bitterness. So drop the words, "It's not my fault." Replace them with 5 stronger ones. I take responsibility for everything. That's not weakness. That's sovereignty. 3. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone thinks. The favorite mask of the insecure. It sounds powerful, doesn't it? Like defiance, like freedom. But look closer. It's rarely spoken by a truly free man. It's spoken by a man who's already been judged, already been hurt, and now builds armor out of apathy. He says it to convince himself he's above the opinions that secretly rule his life. The truth is, the louder he says it, the more he still cares. Because indifference isn't strength when it's born from bitterness. It's just pain pretending to be pride. The Stoics never taught us to stop caring about people's opinions. They taught us to care wisely. Marcus Aurelius never said, "Ignore the world." He said, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." That's the Stoic balance. You don't reject feedback, you filter it. You don't silence every voice, you choose which ones enter your mind. A fool thinks freedom means rebellion. A Stoic knows freedom means self-control. Because the moment you need to prove you don't care, you've already given those opinions power. The wise man simply acts with virtue and lets his results speak in silence. Think about it. If someone's judgment can shatter your peace, it's not their opinion that's powerful. It's your attachment to it. The Stoic man learns to draw that boundary. He asks, "Is this within my control?" If not, he releases it. Because real strength is quiet. It doesn't need slogans. It doesn't post quotes about not caring. It just moves in purpose. The fool reacts. The Stoic responds. The fool speaks to be seen. The Stoic acts to be remembered. There's a difference between caring and craving approval. Caring builds connection. Craving destroys self-respect. In truth, the goal is not to stop caring. It's to care selectively. Care about your integrity, your word, your actions, your principles. care about becoming someone you would admire, even if no one else ever notices. Because the man who tries to please everyone loses himself. But the man who lives by virtue earns respect without asking for it. That's the paradox. When you no longer chase validation, people begin to trust you. When you stop shouting, "I don't care," your silence starts speaking for you. So don't be fooled by the noise. "I don't care what anyone thinks" isn't power. It's a confession of exhaustion. True power is when you could care, but choose not to let it rule you. When you stand tall, grounded in who you are, guided by what's right, not what's popular. That's what the Stoics called tranquility, a calm unshaken by praise or blame. Live like that, and you won't need to say the words at all. The world will already see it in the way you move. 4. That's just how I am. That's just how I am. It sounds harmless. But behind those 5 words hides the death of all personal growth. It's the anthem of the man who has stopped evolving, the confession of someone who's chosen comfort over character. Every time he says it, he builds a prison, a neat, cozy little cell called identity. He decorates it with excuses and calls it authenticity. But that's not authenticity. That's surrender. Because the truth is, no man is born fixed. We are fluid, shifting, sculpted by discipline or decay. To say, "That's just how I am," is to admit, "I refuse to change," and nothing rots the soul faster than the pride of staying the same while pretending it's strength. The Stoics saw this weakness long before modern psychology gave it a name. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power over your mind means you are not bound by what you were yesterday. You can rewrite your temperament, your habits, your reactions. The Stoics didn't excuse themselves with, "That's how I am." They trained themselves out of it. Epictetus was born a slave, beaten, crippled. Yet he rose to become one of history's greatest teachers. Seneca was exiled and accused, yet he used solitude to strengthen his soul. They didn't cling to labels, they broke them. The foolish man says, "I'm just impatient." The wise man says, "Then I must learn patience." The fool says, "I'm just emotional." The wise says, "Then I'll master my emotions." Stoicism isn't about denying who you are. It's about proving who you can become. In the modern world, people worship personality tests and zodiac signs more than effort. They say, "I'm a Leo, I'm impulsive," or "I'm introverted, I can't speak up." As if the stars or letters could dictate your destiny. But you are not your type. You are your training. Every time you act differently from your pattern, you weaken its grip. You rewrite the script. You evolve. The Stoic warrior doesn't say, "That's just how I am." He says, "That's who I used to be." Because he knows change isn't betrayal. It's refinement. The oak tree doesn't apologize for outgrowing its seed. The caterpillar doesn't apologize for becoming the butterfly. Growth is not arrogance. Growth is a duty. So next time you hear your mind whisper, "That's just how I am," pause. Ask yourself, is that who I want to be, or just who I've been too lazy to outgrow? The Stoics taught that your habits shape your fate, and every moment is a chance to reforge your character. Maybe you're impatient, so you practice stillness. Maybe you're reactive, so you breathe before speaking. Maybe you're selfish, so you give when it's inconvenient. That's how warriors are built. One small act of rebellion against your weaker nature at a time. Stop using your personality as a cage. Use it as a forge. Burn away the parts that keep you fragile. Refuse to hide behind, "That's just how I am." Replace it with, "I'm becoming better than I was." Because the Stoic truth is this: who you are is not a sentence. It's a decision, rewritten every single day by the choices you make. 5. I'll do it later. I'll do it later, the most expensive sentence in a man's life. It costs dreams, discipline, respect, and time. The one thing he can never earn back. Every fool believes there will always be more time. He says, I'll start next week. I'll fix myself soon. I'll be serious after this season. And soon becomes someday. Someday becomes never. The Stoics called this the greatest illusion of mankind, that we think we have time to waste. Seneca wrote, while we delay, life speeds by. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you hand another piece of your potential to the grave. Procrastination doesn't look dangerous. It looks comfortable. It hides under the illusion of control. I could do it now, but I'll choose later. That's what the fool tells himself. But later is a liar. Later doesn't exist. It's a ghost that lives in the mouth of weak men. Because later never demands action. It promises comfort. And comfort is the silent killer of greatness. The Stoic man knows that action is always the cure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, do what nature demands. Get up now. Stop letting your mind play with you. The Stoic doesn't wait to feel ready. He acts to become ready. He understands that momentum, not motivation, is what builds power. Think of how many men talk about their goals, their plans, their someday. They make vision boards, talk about discipline, buy books, join gyms, but never take the first small, unglamorous step. Because talking feels like progress. It gives a small hit of pride, a false sense of movement. But talking isn't doing. Planning isn't changing. Every day they repeat, I'll do it later, and every day the gap widens between who they are and who they could have been. The Stoics saw this as a form of self-betrayal, knowing what's right but refusing to do it. To them, the enemy was not failure, it was hesitation. Here's the truth. The man who waits for the perfect moment will die waiting. There is no perfect time, only this time. The Stoic warrior knows that every second is a battlefield. When the mind says later, he answers now. Because now is where strength is forged. Now is the only weapon that kills procrastination. Every rep in the gym, every hard conversation, every small action taken immediately. That's how a man rebuilds his will. Seneca called it voluntary hardship, doing what's difficult on purpose to stay sharp. It's not punishment, it's training. So here's your challenge. Think of one thing you've been postponing, and do it today. Not tomorrow, not this weekend. Today. Message that person, start that project, clean that room, take that first rep. Not because it's easy, but because your future self deserves action, not excuses. The Stoics didn't believe in later. They believed in living as if every day were their last. Because one day, it will be. The fool says, I'll do it later. The wise man whispers, if not now, when? Remember, hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could. The world doesn't wait. Life doesn't pause. Every moment you delay is a moment you surrender to weakness. So stop saying, I'll do it later. Say, I'll do it now, before later buries me. 6. Nobody respects me. Those words sound like pain, but beneath them often hides a confession. I haven't been respecting myself. Most men don't lose respect overnight. They give it away in small, quiet trades. Every time they break a promise to themselves. Every time they tolerate disrespect and call it peace. Every time they chase validation instead of mastery. Respect is never lost by accident. It's surrendered, one compromise at a time. And then one day, they look around and realize no one listens. No one values their words. No one takes them seriously. But the Stoics would tell you, respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you radiate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's the key. You don't demand respect. You embody it. You don't chase it. You earn it through consistency, through integrity, through the way you hold yourself when no one's watching. The fool complains that people don't respect him while living in ways that invite disrespect. He lies, cuts corners, gossips, loses his temper, breaks his word, and then wonders why no one sees him as strong. But the Stoic man understands that the world mirrors your inner discipline. If you speak truth, act with clarity, and control your emotions, people can feel it. They may not say it, but they sense it. Respect is gravity. It pulls people toward those who live with order. The modern world teaches men to chase attention instead of respect. They post louder, brag harder, and fake confidence to impress strangers who don't care. But attention is cheap. Respect is sacred. You can buy attention. You have to become respected. The Stoic path begins with silence, with restraint. Master yourself before you ever try to influence others, because the man who controls his emotions controls the entire interaction. Think about it. When you lose your temper, you hand someone else the steering wheel of your mind. When you complain, you shrink. When you react, you expose where you can be controlled. The Stoic doesn't react. He responds. That's why people listen when he finally speaks. His words are earned, not spilled. The truth is, respect doesn't start when others recognize you. It starts the moment you stop betraying yourself, when you wake up and do what you said you'd do, when you speak less and deliver more, when you stop negotiating your standards for approval. Self-respect is the foundation. External respect is just the echo, and the echo always comes later. Seneca said, "He who despises himself is despised by others." So, if nobody respects you right now, that's not a curse. It's feedback. Life is reflecting back what you've been allowing, tolerating, and avoiding. Start with the smallest act of dignity today. Keep your word, even when no one will notice. End a toxic conversation instead of explaining yourself. Walk away from gossip. Speak the truth quietly. Finish what you start. These small, invisible moments build your invisible reputation. Over time, they turn into a presence that commands respect without noise, without effort. So never again say, "Nobody respects me." Instead say, "I am rebuilding my respect, one choice at a time." Because the Stoic truth is simple. Respect isn't given or taken. It's reflected. When you respect yourself deeply enough, the world will have no choice but to follow your lead. 7. Life is unfair. Those words taste bitter, and every weak man repeats them like a prayer. He says them when he's passed over, betrayed, ignored, or broken. He says them to justify his pain, to explain his failure. But the Stoics would look him in the eye and say, "Of course it's unfair. It's supposed to be." Life was never designed to be balanced. It was designed to reveal you. The universe doesn't hand out equal chances. It hands out tests. And those who use injustice as fuel will rise, while those who use it as an excuse will rot in their own resentment. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests the brave." The Stoics didn't whine about fairness. They trained for adversity. Marcus Aurelius lost his wife, his children, faced betrayal, plague, and war, and still ruled with calm and mercy. Because he understood this, fairness is not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. The fool believes life owes him comfort. The Stoic knows life owes him nothing, and that's exactly why he's free. Once you stop expecting fairness, every difficulty becomes a gym for your spirit. Every setback, a new weight to lift. Every insult, a test of your composure. You either get bitter or you get better, but you can't be both. Think about it. If everything were fair, you would never grow. You would never be tested, never discover what you're made of. It's the unfairness of life that sharpens you. the missed opportunities that force you to create your own, the rejection that teaches you self-respect, the heartbreak that shows you what real love requires. Fairness is comfortable mediocrity. Unfairness is where strength is born. That's why the Stoics didn't pray for easy days. They prayed for the strength to handle hard ones. The fool curses the storm, the Stoic learns to dance with it. Because every storm reveals your discipline, your patience, your courage. And if you fail, good. Life just found your weak spot. Now you know what to train. Modern society has taught people to equate suffering with injustice. We post, we vent, we blame, as if naming the unfairness will erase it. But pain doesn't disappear because you complain about it. It disappears because you outgrow it. The Stoic doesn't seek revenge or pity. He seeks mastery. He asks, "What is this moment trying to teach me?" And in that question, he reclaims control. No one can make life fair, but you can make yourself formidable. You can become the kind of man who turns every disadvantage into discipline. The kind who doesn't waste energy on what's not fair, but focuses entirely on what's within reach. So when life hits you, and it will, don't whine, don't explain, don't look for sympathy. Look for the lesson. Every betrayal is training for detachment. Every setback is training for endurance. Every unfair moment is a mirror reflecting the strength you still lack. Instead of saying, "Life is unfair," say, "Life is testing me, and I'm ready." Because the Stoic truth is simple. The world doesn't need to be fair for you to be great. It just needs you to stay disciplined, calm, and unbreakable, no matter what cards you're dealt. Remember, fairness is not the path to peace. Acceptance is.